I want you to just take a minute and think about the word desires. Do you feel safe to even have one? Are you allowed to have a desire? What emotion comes up for you? It can be as simple as comfortable or uncomfortable. But play with that idea because as we get into that, we can't start thinking about desires until we address your busy mind. First and foremost, 95% of our thoughts are unconscious, with 80% of them being negative. So there's so much happening. That's also where your memories and emotions are stored. So your thoughts can become emotions. Your emotions become behavior. But your memories, your emotions, your thoughts, they're all stored in the unconscious. And each one impacts the behavior and how you walk through this world. Now, that seems really simple, right? And maybe you've seen this fact somewhere. And you can go, sure, that's logical. I get that. But as you're operating on your day-to-day life, you're not thinking that you're operating from the unconscious. You're thinking, I'm busy out of my mind. But are you? It is so important for us to slow down. When we slow down, we get to see, feel, hear, and then behave differently. We can transform our lives simply with the process of slowing down. I'm not talking about walking in slow motion, but you actually can be more productive and better in your day when you're slowing your mind, slowing your nervous system, calming that to create deeper wisdom. So I want you to start thinking about the unwritten rules. What are the expectations that are happening, potentially, likely in your unconscious right now? That's what makes them so tricky. Some of them we know at the top of our heads, but some we have to dig a little deeper for. These can feel like expectations others put on you, ones that you are putting on someone else, and certainly pressure that you put on yourself. It can look like having to always be kind and pleasant despite being faced with microaggressions. It can be dressing a certain way, which, by the way, that situation changes all the time, depending on where we're going and who's going to be there. There are no rules, no steady ones, but there's unwritten ones that we're supposed to know how to follow. There's pressure that comes with this. There's cultural expectations. As a Latina, one thing that comes up for me that happens is we are created to serve our partner first, then kids, then pets, then home, then maybe us. Maybe. It's a long way down the line. And I wasn't raised with this messaging. I was told word for word, marry for love, make your own money. And I was boy crazy since I was 3. It was don't focus on boys, focus on school. So all kind of pillars of independent woman, fierceness. But yet the culture around me showed me something different. So I innately soaked in something different. One of my clients, another woman of color, we've talked about how when our partners work from home with us, we tend to stop what we're doing and feel the need to feed them. No one's asking for it. These are adults, they can feed themselves, but yet we feel this unspoken pressure. And that comes from a cultural expectation. Growing up, I was a brownie. I say growing up, I'm using that loosely because it did not last. I did not make it to graduation because we had to put our uniforms on. That was not my style. The color was not for me. It didn't go far. However, the song, make new friends, but keep the old, one is silver and the other's gold. It's a really beautiful thought. And it created an expectation of what friendships are. We grew up with BFF, right? Best friends forever, ride or die. It's this thought that this friend that you have from the beginning is going to be with you till the grave. And I love that idea. But in reality, how often does that happen? What it doesn't allow for is the fact that we change in our lives, and that's good. We grow, we evolve. And sometimes that means that the other people in our lives are going in different directions. But when we hold on to that expectation, which very transparently I have, it has been so agonizingly painful for me when I've lost a friend, even though lost is, we're not breaking up like we used to in high school or elementary school. It's just growing apart. It's just evolving differently. But it hurts because of this expectation that's been there. So as you're going through this discovery of self, some clues to think about are the should do, need to, have to, supposed to. That is likely leading to an expectation. And what's really interesting, actually, is when we think about our desires, it tends to be interrupted with one of these. And what happens in your brain is that these words create a signal that lights up your amygdala. So you end up in survival. You are thinking, if I do something outside of this should do, need to, have to, supposed to, I'm in danger. And it takes you away from it. But that's not the truth. That's a lie that's happening. So even just feeling some of this bubble up, what I want to do is I want to give you 10 seconds of mindfulness because it's so important and that creates new neural pathways in the brain. So what I want you to do is I want you to touch something in front of you in your vicinity. Doesn't matter what it is, just so that you can put your fingers on it and just touch it. Maybe move them around so you can really feel the nuances of what you're touching. Feel the texture, feel the temperature. Just notice it. If it's visible to you, take a look at it. See the different colors, the shades, any patterns. And in just those simple moments, you can create change, kind of ease and soothe a bit of those expectations. So now we can start to shift into delicious desires. Think about that question that was asked at the beginning. Would you be a dragon or a Pegasus? Was there any thought that came up of what you should be answering? I loved hearing about everyone's answers. What I can say personally is I would have immediately always thought I needed to be a Pegasus. Pegasus, it's girly, it's feminine, it's magical, it's good versus evil, right? But now I know there's so many more nuances. But still, there's that little voice. Would glamorous Jackie choose the dragon? Glamorous Jackie is me at my highest vessel. So your desires can bring up those expectations really subtly. As we're defining desires, think about something that's just for you. Others might be involved in it, but really it is only purely for you. Something you desire. It could be something you want or something that you want more of. And the clues for these, they might feel forbidden, maybe even a little naughty. They're likely something that you've put aside and don't prioritize. It could even make you feel different from the people closest to you. I'll give you one of mine. I desire to have an office in Atlanta. Now, I want to move there. It's something that my family and I have been talking about, but my timeline is different from my husband and bonus daughter. And I want to be there as soon as possible. I want a 2-bedroom apartment that's an office for me that I can go there every few months and be. I don't know anybody that wants to have a space in a different state than their significant other, who doesn't just want to sit back and wait and go together. And while it could benefit my husband because we'll have a place to go and stay and visit where it's something that we're investing in financially, I say we loosely because it'll be under my company, but it could benefit everybody, but it really, at the end of the day, that's for me. So if we dance, and when we look at dancing with a desire, it starts with releasing the expectation. But we have to know what the expectation is first. Then it's giving yourself permission to desire. You look at a small, slight process that's simple but not easy, and it is claiming it, dreaming it, and creating an intention. And in the claiming, giving yourself permission is part of it, right? I give myself permission to want this office in Atlanta, in a 2-bedroom apartment. just for me. Then dreaming it. What does the furniture look like? Where is it in the city? Can I picture the view? What colors are the walls? What am I bringing in there? Is there a signature scent? Getting really granular with that. And then setting the intention. I intend to have this, right? Being really clear in it. And that puts power and initiative behind it. I am not going to pretend that this is easy, right? That we can just release an expectation, right? That's just not something we do. But the thing is, if you're feeling like life is happening to you, like you're caught up in the expectations and obligations, these are clues, and they're absolutely normal. I want to help. This is what I do, because I know you're worthy of more. So I'm opening up 3 slots on my calendar for dream discovery calls. These are free, no pressure calls that aren't offered to the public. But because you're part of the She Suite Connector community, I want you to have access to this. So in this hour together, you're going to walk away with more awareness of what you want, so you can align your time and priorities to focus on achieving your goals. You'll be able to make decisions better, so you're not wasting time and stressing over every little thing, which means you can move forward with confidence and get things done. And you'll feel safe to look inward, so you can evolve towards being better to you. And also in your relationships, while giving yourself compassion when you stumble, because you will, we all do. So I'm putting the link in the chat. You can open this up while you're still on the call and find a time that works for you right now. Okay. But my promise to you is that you're going to walk away feeling clear, confident, and empowered to create more of the life that feels good to you, and in a way that aligns with who you are. There's nothing cookie cutter about this.